So, hello and welcome to the fifth part of the series of videos where I'll be comparing my gaming PC to the Xbox Series X performance and quality modes. So, here we are taking a look at Shadow of the Tomb Raider, 2018 title, using Xbox Series X graphics settings. Same graphics settings the Xbox One X used. As we can see, we are at native 4K because quality mode in Xbox One X is 2016p, which is something I cannot replicate here on my computer. So we are using um, a little bit higher resolution. It won't make a lot of difference visually. So this is native 2160p at 30 FPS, capped at 30 FPS, using the Xbox graphics settings, which are very shy of what the PC is capable of. Most of them are turned into normal. So, as you can see, great performance. Although the GPU is being highly used, as you can see, even at 30 FPS with these settings. But following up, you will see that uh, this GPU is capable of running at this resolution, capped to 30 FPS with no sweat, using the maximum preset available on the PC. Um, I apologize for the erratic gameplay. Um, I'm just trying to show realistic gameplay of what you would expect when turning on this game with this GPU. So already we matched the Xbox Series X settings, so no worries here. I know all of these titles are not next-gen titles, but you can have a pretty good idea of what the 5700 XT is capable of next to the Xbox Series X GPU.
I thought I got you killed.
Hey, do you know what happened to Miguel?
He didn't make it. What's wrong with your arm?
Some sort of parasite. I was looking for some wormwood, but it doesn't grow around here.
Let me see.
Oh, hey, what are you doing?
If we leave it in there, it'll only get worse. Sit.
You sure you know what you're doing?
I had something similar happen to me when I was a child in Egypt. I won't lie, it's gonna hurt.
You think that storm from earlier was the storm? The one from the mural?
I don't know.
I think maybe we should stop and take stock. We've been pushing so hard forward and flying into that storm.
I didn't think it was gonna be that bad.
Well, I should have insisted we turn back. I mean, I get it. You lock onto a problem and everything else just disappears.
Jonah.
Hey, I'm with you. It's my choice, most of the time. But if we die, who stops the cataclysms? Who keeps Trinity from doing what they want?
Sometimes I feel like I have to keep going, and if I don't, then I'll just let everyone down. But maybe for the sake of a few hours, we could have turned back.
Maybe we should give him a name.
Okay.
Eli? My cousin. He's always trying to get under my skin.
Goodbye, Eli.
Thanks.
We should go. If we can find Kawakyaku, we can rest for the night.
Sounds good. I think we can see the village through the vines over there.
I'm glad you stayed at the crash site.
Well, if you were out there, I wanted you to be able to find me. I had a flare gun.
Yeah, I think Miguel was heading toward it when...
Poor guy.
So now we are going to try out Xbox Series X performance mode, which is the same as the Xbox One X, which lowers the resolution pretty far low down to 1080p. Keeps all the graphics settings the same, temporary anti-aliasing. Obviously, it's going to be no sweat for the 5700 XT, since 1080p is really overkill for this card. Bear in mind, we are still using the same graphics settings, so it's an even lower. It's an even lower, as you can say, stress. It's even lower stress on the GPU. So no stress, no sweat for the 5700 XT. I don't know why they wouldn't patch this to be higher resolution on the Xbox Series X, since the Xbox Series X is more than capable of running this at 60 FPS, minimum of 1440p, I think, which would be a lot better than 1080p. But 1080p it is, so we are trying out here at 1080p.
No one's been through here in years. I think this is the way out.
So now we will be taking a look at how I play this game on my PC as a sort of a quality mode using 30 FPS capped 2160p native 4K, using a higher quality anti-aliasing as you can see, mixing SMAA with TAA. It's not the highest preset, but at 4K you really don't need higher than this. I'm not sure if you guys will see the difference on the video, but in my TV it sure looks sharp enough. And all settings are turned to their maximum preset, um, to their highest preset. 30 FPS, and as you can see, for the 5700 XT, again, no sweat. So the real question is, can the Xbox Series X handle capped 30 FPS, native 2160p, with that higher option anti-aliasing, and all settings turned to max? That's something we will not see, as developers will not waste their time investing and tweaking this game to have higher graphical settings on the consoles, since it's already last generation. It's a last gen title, and they are really investing on the next Tomb Raider game, which I'm sure it will be very different in terms of performance, at least on my GPU and on the Xbox Series X as well. Um, we may be at first glance really marveled at how well the new console, the Series X, can handle previous gen titles. Obviously, it will improve frame rates. It won't change graphical settings because, well, it's like I said, a waste of time for the developers at this point. But we should not really be marveled at the increase in performance that we are seeing in last gen titles, because let's not forget that Xbox One X had comparing GPU power similar to an RX 580, which, as we know today, it's not even a high to ultra settings 60 FPS 1080p GPU anymore. So it really struggles to maintain 60 FPS on newer titles at high to ultra settings. So it's really a much weaker GPU. There was a much weaker GPU on the Xbox One X. The new Series X, even if it has a GPU comparable to the 5700 XT, with some RDNA2 features, maybe taking more advantage of the CPU it has than I'm taking right now. Uh, it's really a much higher, much stronger GPU. Really light years away from the RX 580 and that architecture. So the real question here as well is, how well will the Xbox Series X run this really next gen titles like Cyberpunk 2077, for instance? I'm sure I'm not going to be able to run Cyberpunk at 1440p high settings at 60 FPS. I'm sure of it. So that's where this GPU and the GPU in the Xbox Series X will start to show its age. Um, so with these titles, obviously the 5700 XT will have a similar performance to the Xbox Series X. The real question will be forward,
We can get through
how
here.
will it
Go
compare
ahead.
to those next titles that yet are to come?
You see that?
It must be Kwak Yaku. We have to get down there.
And finally, here we are in my chosen performance mode. This is the way I mostly play this game and have played since I've bought it. 60 FPS, 1512p, using temporal anti-aliasing only, 70% of 4K with all settings turned up to their maximum preset. And as you will see, we get a locked 60 FPS, which with much greater graphical fidelity and resolution than the performance mode on the Xbox Series X, which is at 1080p. So really not bad for this GPU. It's still a very powerful GPU if you consider the power it has to upscale to 4K and to run at higher resolutions. Obviously, this is without ray tracing. Ray tracing is something that I've yet to experience. I'm thinking in the future, after the dust settles, as everybody's saying now, maybe next year, at the turn of spring, near summer, I'm thinking of investing on a 6800. If I get a cheap deal, because in my opinion, the performance on the 6800, the difference from the 5700 XT to the 6800 really doesn't justify for me the price. I know it's a sort of a 500 and something dollar card MSRP in the States, but here in Europe, in Portugal, the price is really high, almost getting up to 600 euros. So some AIB cards even passing that threshold of the 600 euros. So it's really plus 200 euros GPU. It's more than 200 euros than what I paid for the 5700 XT, and I don't think it has 200 euros something more of a performance to offer. So either I buy a 6800 and I see how ray tracing performance will evolve up to that point, or I'll just skip this generation and just go for the 7000 series cards.
Let's see what those counterweights do.
So at that point, the Xbox Series X GPU will be sort of obsolete, like the Xbox One X GPU was obsolete back in 2018 when the first RTX cards came out. So it was really obsolete GPU at that point. But as you can see, 1512p, breaking no sweat with all graphics settings turned up. Rasterization only. So guys, enjoy the rest of the gameplay, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye bye.
I'm going to have to let it go. Hurry! I can't hold this much longer.
Okay, Jonah, you can let go.
That's it. Let's get across.